Good morning, Manna gathering people. It's me, Jerry Catherine, here with your morning manna on this hump day. And we are continuing to use scripture to help prepare us for Sunday's sermon series on happiness. This Sunday, we are talking about happiness is a habit, and we have looked toward the Torah in Deuteronomy 30, and then we looked to the Old Testament history book yesterday in Joshua 24, and today we are in a book of wisdom literature in Proverbs 3, 1 through 8, and these are some of my favorite verses in the Bible. I love this whole proverb. I love the wisdom literature, and there is certainly a lot of wisdom in this proverb for us today, and we will just touch on a very small fraction of the wisdom found in these verses, looking for food for our souls so that we can be prepared for Sunday's sermon and scripture. So, hear these words of Proverbs 3, 1 through 8, and I will be reading from today the Message translation. Good friend. Now, in the NRSV translation, which is the translation I most often use, it says my child, and I kind of like that translation better. And I can hear these words, so listen with these kind of ears, my parents saying these words to me, or maybe even my best friend. So here we go. My friend, my child, don't forget all I've taught you. Take heart my commands. They'll help you live a long, long time, a long life lived full and well. Don't lose your grip on love and loyalty. Tie them around your neck, carve their initials into your heart. Earn a reputation for living well in God's eyes and the eyes of all people. Trust God from the bottom of your heart. Don't try to figure out everything on your own. Listen for God's voice in everything you do and everywhere you go. He is the one who will keep you on track. Don't assume that you know it all. Run to God, run from evil. Your body will glow with health. Your very bones will vibrate with life. Several of the lessons we have learned already from the scripture we have reviewed over the last 2 days are reiterated here again. You probably heard them. Happiness is rooted in God, and remaining rooted in God is a choice. Today's proverb says it this way: take to heart God's commandments, not letting all we learn in scripture or all we hear and learn on Sundays or all the things we learn in Bible studies or through this morning manna or our own personal quiet time go in one ear and out the other. Don't forget to put your faith that you have learned into action throughout your life. We have a choice every day, with every decision, with every moment, to run with God, as this proverb says, or to run with evil. Running with God helps our happiness thermometer go up, up, up. And the longer we choose to run with evil, well, this writer of Proverbs says our happiness quotient will go down, down, down. And to reiterate Tuesday's lesson, that God is with us always. It's repeated right here in Proverbs 3. God is in everything we do and everywhere we go, says this writer. We need such reminders over and over and over again, don't we? Because sometimes when troubles and trials hit us, we forget to put our faith into action, to lean on God. And throughout Scripture, the things we have talked about these last 2 days are repeated over and over. Humanity, I'd say, knowing myself, can be very hard headed in many, many ways. But here's what I want us to focus on today. Focus our attention on this verse from our scripture. Don't assume you know everything. What? Scripture says that? Well, in other translations, it says that don't be wise in your own eyes. But I like the way the Message Bible says it very directly. Don't assume you know it all. Well, you know that what they say about those who assume. Have you heard that slightly boorish Borderline, vulgar, rude saying. Assuming makes a three-letter word for bottom out of you and me. Spell assume. ASSUME. Anyhow, don't assume you know it all. Don't be wise in your own eyes. If you're like me, you like to have everything pretty much figured out, known, exposed in full light, know what to expect even in the future, and know where you are going and what's going to happen. Such a life, though, when you think about it, does not leave room, very much room, for mystery, for God, for those times that God will surprise you and show up in bigger ways than you could ever imagine. Ephesians 3:20 says it this way: God shows up in immeasurably more than we can at all ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us. Sometimes we are so busy striving after the things that we think we assume will make us happy that the happiness God is offering us completely passes us by because we are so wrapped up in using our own power, our own means, our own ways to go after those things that we think will make us happy. And we commit ourselves to being unhappy because we aren't getting what we want. When we choose to plant ourselves in God, when we choose to immerse ourselves in God's teachings, when we choose to see our lives, ourselves even, and all we think, say, and do through the eyes of God, when we choose to see God everywhere, when we choose to invoke God's guidance, and when we choose to trust God enough not to completely depend on our own knowledge, on our own eyes, our own ways, our own measures of happiness, then, well, we open ourselves up to the life talked about here in Proverbs 3. A happy life that glows and vibrates with life. In this proverb, I hear a lot of unlearning many of us must do, a lot of letting go of expectations, of letting go of parameters or boxes we put around God or put God in, a lot of emptying so that we can be filled anew by the good and wonderful, the happiness of God. Doing all that requires, though, a choice. So that's all I have for you today. Keep breathing today, of course, obviously, but breathe, choose God, choose happiness. See you tomorrow when we meander on over to the New Testament to continue to talk about happiness being a habit, happiness being a choice.